Now I'm at the point you wanna be with me. I'm vibing out at a higher frequency, cause everything that I want and I'm gonna be, it's when I wake up, that's when I start to dream. Someone you love is talking down, here is the plan. Let it fall through like a handful of sand. Nothing happens overnight, what you must understand. If you dwell on the bad, then you don't stand a chance. Something you want upset, saying why it ain't mine yet. That's because now you have yet to change your mindset. People don't put their mind to rest while they're so wired. A lot of people go to sleep and wake up tired. Power of positivity and persistence. Say that I can, we'll just sit back and witness. Make an impact when our time is done. Make money, help people, and have lots of fun. Whoa.
Welcome to Office Hours, hosted by legendary sports executive, entrepreneur, and investor David Meltzer, where the brightest entrepreneurial minds in business, sports, and entertainment get together to talk about success, failure, and everything in between.
I have no self-worth tied up in Gary Vee or Gary Vaynerchuk, the entrepreneur. My self-worth is fully and utterly 100% attached to how I treat human beings.
And I think love is the answer to everything as well. Love and compassion and justice and fairness, and which are all aspects of love.
The most important question anybody can ask is, what would I do and love every day, even if I were failing?
Take a deep dive into the mind of some of the world's most impactful guests.
And the reality is, life here on Earth is very short compared to eternity, and we don't spend a lot of time thinking about eternity and what that looks like.
People get new computers, they get new iPhones, they upgrade their apps. But when's the last time we upgraded, the technology that's created all of these things?
So I always challenge my audience and people I talk to about, sometimes is there a door in your life you have to close for other doors to open?
To share their strategies and tools to dominate their respective fields.
When we repeat anything, whether it's a constructive good pattern or a destructive bad pattern, our brain reinforces it just like a muscle.
All a belief is a story that you've said over and over again. Maybe you caught it from someone else or you had a specific experience.
Know who you are, know what you want, and make adjustments trying to get there.
David Meltzer hosts Office Hours.
Good morning. Good morning. Oh, hey, brother. And I love you both, and I'm proud of you. And I love elevating others and appreciating their wins. And you guys keep winning by helping so many other people. And I just want to congratulate both of you, Scott and Ramon, for doing such great work on a mission to empower others, to live in abundance, to make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun. We've been doing these Friday trainings for over 26 years and over, 5 years here, on Clubhouse with the Breakfast of Champions with Ramon and Scott and Glenn and Anne-Marie and everybody else, Mary Lynn, whoever else. Nick of WOM is with us today. But I'm going to go ahead and let Nick set the room. We're going to do stories and lessons today, better known as takeaway of the day. Nick of WOM, why don't you set the room first? The well-oiled machine, the amazing Nick. Go ahead, set the room, and then we'll get started. Hey, Nick, can I interrupt you for a second? are you on the multicast? Can they hear you?
They should be able to hear me now.
They weren't before. Okay, good. Thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah. So we are rocking and rolling with Takeaway of the Month as a reminder for everybody. So whether you are joining us online on the multicast, as we are, of course, streaming everywhere, please put your takeaways in the chat. And if you are live here on Clubhouse and you have a takeaway to be able to share today, if you're in the audience, please use the hand icon to request to join the stage. And of course, if you're already on stage, please put a note in what is the room chat, and I will be happy to pass the microphone over your way. Now, of course, David is joining us on the go. We got Mobo Meltzer today for training as he is getting ready to accept his honorary doctorate from Sherman College. So he is in Spartanburg, South Carolina today. And I know next week, as we of course want to invite but not obligate our community to join us, we're going to be in Phoenix, Arizona for the Aspire Business Tour and hosting a VIP dinner on Monday night the 5th. Tuesday and Wednesday, the 6th and 7th, we're going to be back in Viva Las Vegas for part 2 of season 8 of the Office Hours TV show filming, and of course, a VIP dinner. And then as we carry throughout the rest of the month of May, we're going to be in Los Angeles, back at SoFi Stadium, New York City, Vancouver for Web Summit, Atlanta, and many, many more. So, of course, for everybody, if you would like to join us, we would just please ask to reach out. So, of course, we can get you connected with all the right information. David@dmeltzer.com. But more importantly, join the text community so you get the reminders on where David's going to be. And that's just 949-298-2905. Now, I know this may be a little bit early, but Dr. Meltzer, please kick us off by sharing your takeaway of the month from the month of April, and let's get this train rocking and rolling.
Well, it's interesting because my takeaway is about takeaways, and I've learned a lot about capturing lessons and takeaways. There were so many times that I wrote down everything, wrote down nothing, ended up with banker's boxes full of things I couldn't access. And I've learned those lessons. And my takeaway, my lesson for April was that I need to make sure that I'm capturing that which resonates with me. That's it gives me a strong feeling, either a positive one or a negative one. I've actually spent more time doing research on lessons I've learned that have a negative feeling to them. And I want to find out how to bring ease to that feeling, to have resolve, resolution, appreciation, how to find the light, the love, and the lesson in something I don't agree with or that bothers me a lot. And so I want to encourage everyone, as the lesson for me, the takeaway of the month, to figure out a system to capture the lessons that resonate with you in a positive way, like I'm either humble or I'm about to be, or in a negative way when somebody says, does, thinks, feels, or believes something that makes you feel bad or you don't agree with strongly. I encourage you to pay attention and give intention to those lessons. Create a system to capture it. I love to tie stories to it, to teach those lessons, not only to other people, but to practice telling those stories so that it reinforces it into my own conscious continuum and shifting the energetic and genetic inheritance that I have that allows me to resonate either strongly for or strongly against, understanding that that will indicate the value, knowing that the things that I feel strongly about, either the things I like or don't like, work or don't work, or know or don't know, are going to be indicative of to where to put my attention and intention to have the most growth I can, to accelerate, aggregate, compound exponentially where I want to be or better. So my takeaway of April, my lesson of April, is to make sure that I'm capturing the lessons that I learn, the ones that I strongly agree or disagree with, and then creating stories around it to not only teach others, but teach myself. Nick of Wam, I appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind, I'd love, you're surrounded by people, wisdom and people of faith that have shared and instilled and empowered you. And I see the acceleration in growth. What was your takeaway or your lesson of April?
Yeah, so for me, it's a lesson that continues to come up, and something that I've learned from you, David, which the simple things to do are also very simple not to do. And I mean that both as it pertains to myself as an individual, as I have the constant evolution of what is my own habit machine, but also of course, as I continue to evolve and progress, I also mean that as a leader in terms of working, being both a mentee as well as a mentor. It is that very simple reminder that the simple things to do are also simple not to do. And if we focus in on, following through on not only our word, but doing the simple things, it proves how the subtleties of success only lead to more success, more creation, collaboration, and inspiration for all of us. So that was my takeaway from the month of April. And David,
well, good. So let me comment on that then. So giving those lessons, understanding the simple things to do or simple not to do, the best indication of that is gratitude. It's so remarkable to me that in the complexities of the research I do and all the time that I spent in trying to create a greater elevated awareness to some of the more challenging interferences that we have mentally, physically, and spiritually, that it is truly the simple things like saying thank you. The best piece of advice and the most remarkable feedback that I get is out of all the complexities in which I have a spectrum of content out there in varying degrees of complexity. The most common thing that has changed people's life and everyone agrees upon is that to say thank you before you go to bed and to say thank you when you wake up. It takes about 0.1 seconds, Nick, to say thank you. It is free. Every single billionaire, millionaire, entrepreneur, celebrity athlete, and entertainer that I've worked with at the highest level will tell you that gratitude is the key. It is the secret sauce. Everyone agrees that it has the most impact, and it's free, and it takes 0.1 second. But yet, by tonight, although everyone agrees that it's free, it takes 0.1 second, and it has the most impact on our lives, half of us won't say thank you. By tomorrow morning, another half of us won't say thank you. And within 3 days, almost all of us won't say thank you. In fact, I have based everything I do off of gratitude. I have branded myself as the gratitude guy. I have worked so hard to find and appreciate the differences between people, to unite us all and to teach people about appreciation, the ability to have the perspective of finding the light, the love, and the lessons. And yet I still forget to say thank you. I have created a gratitude challenge that I'll be glad to send out, david@dmeltzer.com. So if anybody would like to start to practice the simple things, the most powerful simple things that are simple not to do, then let's create a conscious continuum of behavioral practice in order to facilitate, to make easy the simple things, so we facilitate the simple things get done. And that's what that gratitude challenge, and that's what gratitude is. And one of my favorite lessons as well is the simple things to do or simple not to do. Pay attention and give intention to double down on the simple things, and the rest of the things will also become simple as well. That's a great takeaway for such a young superstar, the Nick of Wam, the well-oiled machine. All right, buddy, who's up next?
Yes, and before we go ahead with our first guest here to share their takeaway of the month, one quick suggestion, David, to make it easy from a technical perspective. If you wouldn't mind, on your second phone, go ahead and just unplug your headphones so that everybody on the multicast will be getting the questions from Clubhouse as well.
You got it.
Beautiful. All righty. And so for our first person for today, in terms of the takeaways of the month, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to the incredible Robin. Robin, it's always great to see you here. Happy Friday. Feel free to mute yourself. Share your takeaway. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, good morning. Thank you, Nick. Hi, David. Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody.
Good morning.
Okay, good. So my takeaway of the month was continually chipping away and having that big concept that you teach of having a consistent pursuit of your potential, and the ways that I showed up for myself every time I've thought maybe things are going to be too hard. Oh, I'm not able to accomplish that. And I said, you know what? Do it anyway, because you can absolutely come out of the other side and things will be better. And sure enough, it proved me in the right direction each time. I channeled that this month. I was approved for my second business that I will now be opening soon, and I'm very excited and looking very forward to the future.
That is awesome. It's so interesting to enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. In the course of that enjoyment, of course, is integrated the gratitude side of it to find the light, the love, and the lessons through gratitude, empathy, forgiveness, ease, and accountability to learn those lessons by asking ourselves, what did I and what am I supposed to learn from it, by being responsible, accountable, and participating in the right perception, the gracious and forgiving perception of it. One of the things that's interesting in that takeaway that has caused these exponential results in your life, these outcomes without attaching to it, in the course of the practice of enjoying the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of your potential, of what you want, not what other people want, not what's missing, not what you don't have, but what you want. In the course of that, we have found that through gratitude, forgiveness, and accountability, that you can learn to love things. And one of my great mentors, Bob Parsons, the founder of GoDaddy, always said, if you can learn to love what you don't like or love, if you can learn to love what other people don't like or love, and be consistent in learning that, and persistent in the pursuit of your potential, life will tell you all its secrets. It'll make life easy. And get rid of the dis-easy. It'll get the cheat codes, and that awareness that is occurring in your life and the exponentiality of the outcomes that are occurring in your life to facilitate an ease in your life, to connect to the infinite amount of information and energy that you're a piece and part of, to allow it to come through you, will just create an acceleration and an aggregation of those outcomes that you desire. They're called coincidences, which is, for me, the mathematical equation of luck, that things are coinciding in your favor in the divine direction. And you have the capacity through this philosophy to create the detours as divine in divine time. And it's a very, very valuable lesson if we can learn. It's actually my definition of happiness, to enjoy what we don't like or love, or what other people don't like or love, in a consistent, persistent pursuit of our own potential. What great wisdom we're sharing today. Hopefully that resonates with you, as well as the simple things to do. And hopefully that energy will carry forward into your own lessons and your own stories to help other people as well. Nick Avoam, hopefully the volume is right. Give me any direction if I need to change anything. We are mobile today. I'm blessed to be acknowledged today, my first honorary doctorate. I have finished the triad of the Holy Grail for my mom. I was blessed to be informed of this before my mom passed away. So as she said, David, you either a doctor, a lawyer, or a failure. Mom, I'm proud to say I'm all three. So I have done all three, the holy triad of the human journey. Doctor, lawyer, the fetus is fully developed, 57 years old. So shout out to my mom. Give this honor, take this honor on behalf of her, and completing the fetus fully now. Anyway, Nick, go ahead. Let's bring somebody else up.
Absolutely. And just to give you ease and reassurance, audio, video, we are rocking and rolling. You sound great, you look great, and everybody can hear us, so we are good to go. And for our next takeaway of the month, I'm going to pass it over to our good friend, Patul. Patul, it's been a few weeks. It's good to see you here, my friend. Feel free to unmute yourself and share away.
Good morning to everyone. Love, peace, and blessings. Here we are sharing takeaways of the month. Blessed and humbled to be able to share. For me, it's something from David. Guilty of being a stalker probably, but it's I am happy, I am healthy, I am wealthy. What am I doing to get in the way of it, is his way of putting it. And other people we're all blessed to be able to learn from, tell us that, we are an embodiment of the divine. And so the way that's embodied for me, and the way that's manifested last month in particular, and even as recent as this morning, I'm in the UK, so it's 2 p.m, is being in flow. And when I'm out of flow, I move away, whether that's in a message exchange, something I'm working on, or anything. There's lots of things that links to it, but it's really aiming to be at that divine frequency, tuning into my frequency, and trying to remember that I am is the ultimate lesson. It seems that's probably a mess of a share, but I hope there's something in there that makes sense and is of value. Thank you.
It's of great value. This is the ultimate paradigm shift. It was interesting. I went to a young influencer wedding last week in Newport, Rhode Island. And it was so interesting because Newport, Rhode Island is known for, of course, the Breakers and the Biltmore, the Great Gatsby, this amazing time in history when the Vanderbilts were the richest family in the world and ended up 100 years later with not one Vanderbilt worth over $1 million. And what I found interesting is the generation of influencers, of people who are virtual Great Gatsbys. They are putting on an amazing show for the public. Now, the good news is most of them don't have any money to lose. So they're just portraying an energy of this is what I want people to think I am versus I am. And when we want people to think I am, we're pursuing what we think I am instead of understanding that I am and what am I doing to interfere with it. This paradigm shift is one of the greatest lessons that needs to be practiced because it evolves into understanding what it is that's interfering with the infinite more than enough, the infinite amount of information, the infinite amount of energy that's available for you and I and through you and I every single day. And so when we understand the reactions that we have to fear, and in that reaction, the interference that's created, and the necessity of the wisdom and the faith to shorten the distance of that resistance, at its core, our human experience, which is dictated by the time your heart starts until it stops, given incremental times of 24 hours a day in which to pursue your potential, as we mentioned earlier, when we can utilize that incremental time effectively by identifying that which we're doing to interfere with it and shorten that distance of resistance through wisdom and faith and quantify it with the amount of time that we spend with a need to be right, a need to be offended, a need to be separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, guilty, resentful. It's instant and obvious when we feel that way, Atul. And so it's quite simple, no pun intended for the Nick of Wam's takeaway, to do the things that are simple not to do, which is to identify what I'm doing to interfere with it, because there's only one thing you're doing to interfere with it, and it's your reaction to fear, the ones that interfere with it. And so anything that creates that dis-ease, that separation, that inferiority, that superiority, we can shorten that distance immediately and spend the majority of our time in a conscious continuum with the infinite information and energy in a divine direction, quickly adjusting the detours in their divinity in a short amount of time and allowing for divine time to reveal the solution that exists in the problem. There's just between every problem in your life and the solution that exists, it already exists. There's just a lapse of time. And if you want to spend in that lapse of time, your time interfering with it, then it's going to take you more time in order to find the solution. Instead, by shortening the distance of resistance, by pursuing the wisdom and acquiring the faith when no evidence is there or the evidence is contrary to where you want to be, we now can facilitate, make easy, ease, and identify the dis-ease. What a great takeaway. We're 3 for 3, Nick of Wam. Remember, everyone, if you want that gratitude challenge, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. We also have in the paradigm shift an exercise that we could send to you as well. So anything that resonates with you, please email us. We'll send you an exercise, a guide, a book, something to help teach and facilitate the support that you need for the annoyance of being repetitive and honest with yourself, the annoyance of being repetitive and honest with others in order to facilitate the growth that we're all looking for in our human experience. Thank you. Nick is up next.
Absolutely. I think it is time for our good friend. It is time to get swifty with Brian Swift, my man. Mr. Swift, we are excited to see you in a few weeks as we're going to be coming to Chicago for the National Restaurant Show. And I know you're going to be joining us for some podcasts and some content and, of course, our VIP dinner as well. So we're looking forward to seeing you then. But feel free to unmute yourself and share your takeaway of the month in the meantime.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to come there, share some content, and rub elbows, not just with David, but David, you've surrounded yourself with amazing people like the Nick Awam and all the others that I've had the pleasure to interact with. Is for my takeaway, it's kind of a combination. When everything feels important, nothing gets done. So I found out it's really critical to test small, learn fast, and to really know not just your non-negotiables, but prioritize outside of those non-negotiables.
I love that. And within the context of non-negotiables, hybrid negotiables and negotiables determined upon what's important to you is the confusion of urgency as well as the importance of prioritization. I'm going to repeat this again to be annoying to everybody, but prioritization is the antidote to feeling overwhelmed. It's the antidote to not getting things done, to procrastinating. If you prioritize correctly, if you know what's important and use urgency as a subset, if you know what's important to you each day, either not taking into consideration as a non-negotiable the circumstances or taking into consideration the circumstances, prioritization is the key because you'll know what to do now and you'll know what to do next. And if you know what to do now and next, you're going to get a lot of shit done because it is impossible to procrastinate. You won't feel overwhelmed. It's just, I got to do this now, this next, this next, this next, this next, and the now and the next, and the now and the next. Allow us to get shit done and be productive, accessible, and gracious with the 24-hour time that we're guaranteed every single day, the increment that we're given in our human experience between the starting of the heart and the stopping of the heart. And so here lies, and as we are 4 for 4, these integrated approaches from knowing the simple things to do or simple not to do, to enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of our potential, to be able, as Hatul says, to utilize what we know in the paradigm shift. And then finally, here, prioritization of what's important to us, not what's important to other people or what's missing, and make sure that we know overall in the infinite time zone what's important to us, which we call non-negotiables. For me, it's like sleep, family, finance, faith, relativity, time, etc. And then you have hybrid negotiables that say, okay, those are the things I'm going to do a minimum amount of time every day. Here's the things I'm going to do every other day, every third day, every week, every month. Those are called hybrid non-negotiables. We just get to pick and choose the best time, but they're non-circumstantial in their nature once you decide on that time and the frequency in which you want that hybrid non-negotiable. Then you have the negotiables, which say, I'm going to learn how to prioritize by what's important to me according to the circumstances within the framework of the 24 hours, the increment of the human experience, the step of each day that sometimes goes backwards, forwards, upwards, around, slippery, dirty, broken, etc. It doesn't matter as long as we stay on the divine direction, in the divine detours, allowing divine time to reveal the evidence when there isn't any or it's contrary to where we want to be. It's so important to understand prioritization, the antidote to procrastination and feeling overwhelmed. Know what you want to do now, know what you want to do next. If you do it now, 100% of the things you do now get done. My second favorite statistic, 100% of the things you do now get done. My favorite statistic, if you haven't heard me say it before, 99% of all statistics are made up. All right, Nick of WAM, we're 5 for 5 or 4 for 4. We're rocking and rolling. It is the lessons, the takeaways of April, of the month. We are on May 2nd, I believe, and I'm being blessed here in Spartanburg in about a half an hour. I'll be rocking and rolling here at Sherman College to satisfy the holy grail, the holy triad of my mom, doctor, lawyer, and failure. Dave Meltzer has achieved all three. Go ahead, Nick. What do we got next?
Absolutely. We are going to keep it live here on Clubhouse as we are blessed with abundance of requests. And now I'm going to pass it over to the incredible Chris Victoria for her takeaway of the month. So, Chris, it's always great to see you here. Thank you so much for joining us. Feel free to unmute yourself and share away.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Happy Friday and gratitude. Definitely this topic has been so inspiring for me because this has been the last 2 weeks of my life in creating and figuring out how to prioritize everything. Because that overwhelmed feeling comes up when I have 500 lists and I don't prioritize it. So this is so important for me to figure out a system and how I can really create that and make sure that I put on top what matters the most and don't overwhelm myself into feeling like I have to do everything at once.
Yeah, that's so amazing. We do feel like we have to do everything at once, and we feel like that we have to be there faster. Everything happens so slowly, then all of a sudden, when we don't think we have to get everything done at once, and it doesn't have to be done right now. We can only do one thing. In fact, our minds can only focus in on one thing, which is why I train people in a methodology called refocus, where we use a central idea, thought, or action in order to facilitate a back and forth of multiple things. I don't believe in multitasking. I believe in refocusing, knowing that the speed of thought is so much faster than the linear time and the infinite time, which the speed of thought exists. We can go back 100 million years in a matter of seconds. We can go forward 100 million years in a matter of seconds. All you gotta do is close your eyes. But understanding how we can use the speed of thought to actually be able to facilitate more activities during the incremental time, the linear time, is a fascinating concept that allows people to be more productive, accessible, and gracious. And so utilizing this refocus and understanding, as you suggest, what's important to you and the prioritization that lies within, and not feeling as if you got to get everything done now or everything done at once, or the results have to come faster than are possible within the divine direction. Because remember, this whole human experience that's defined by these incremental segments of 24 hours that you're guaranteed every day, except for the last day of your life, this human experience is here because you are given a body. That's what makes you human. And you are here to learn lessons. And the lessons will keep on coming until you learn them. The amazing thing is you will forget every lesson that you've learned, you will learn, and you're going to learn. But the power of the paradigm shift, like Atul was talking about, is that you have the power to recollect, remind, and remember the infinite information, the infinite energy. And we use and facilitate a mechanism called stop, drop, and roll in this prioritization so that we don't feel as if we have to get everything done right now, or one thing done right now, or the results have to come right now. Everything will happen slowly, then all of a sudden, if we learn to enjoy this consistent, persistent pursuit of our potential, utilizing everyone's takeaways of today, aggregating and compounding together to help facilitate an easier journey. In fact, the word facilitation means to make easy. And so be a facilitator in your own life and learn to prioritize according to what's important to you. Use urgency as a subset and ask for help. What a great takeaway. Nick of WOM, who's up next?
Absolutely. Let's keep this well-oiled machine rocking and rolling. And thank you to everybody for sharing such incredible takeaways and, of course, showing up in terms of just engaging with what is this abundant community. For our next takeaway of the month, I'm going to pass it over to the incredible Cooper. Cooper, it's great to see you, my friend. Happy Friday. Feel free to unmute yourself and share your takeaway for the month of April.
What's going on, guys? Happy Friday. My takeaway of the month is something David already touched on a little bit, but it's that idea of doing it now. As David said, 100% of the things that we do now get done. And so for me, it's just whether it's an email, sending that call, taking the trash cans out, whatever it is, delaying not only leads to forgotten but missed opportunities. And so it's also much harder for me to be at ease when I know there's an unfinished task. So doing it now has been a huge thing I've worked on this month.
That's so good. And it changed my life. As we talked about refocus as well, Cooper, one of the interesting things when we're able and capable of saying first, when there's something to do, should I do it now? Somebody emails me, texts me, needs feedback. It's part of the reason I can handle so many people in the mentorship, teaching, and coaching that I do, is that I do it now. One of the things that happens when you start the practice of doing it now is you start realizing through the methodology of refocus that not only can you take the trash cans out right now, but you can cold call while you're doing that, or you can talk to your family or any of your other non-negotiables. There's so many things that we can do through the ability of refocusing. And what seems to be a multitasking opportunity. When we do it now, you start realizing how much waste, interference, separation that you've created in your life over all these years. When we start doing it now, we could start seeing how we could do other things now with the things we're doing now. And our productivity, our accessibility, and our gratitude exponentially grow. And we're capable of doing so much more than what we thought before. And this is part of the process of the meaning of the past that we've given ourselves, that somehow there has to be some sort of linear construct in thought, feelings, and beliefs, and there's not. And so by utilizing the activities of what we do and say now, we then expand the now so that it can handle more things that we can do now in the concept of thought. And it appears to be a multitasking opportunity, but it's really just a refocusing where I'm taking out the trash, going on a phone call, going back to taking out the trash, and I'm gathering data at a rate much faster than the linear time in which it exists. I'm capturing that data in my thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, which are in the speed of the infinite, not the linear 24-hour increments that we're given. And so in part and parcel to learning to do things now, what you actually will learn to do is to do more now and be able to do dimensional activities now. At least they appear to be now. They're actually, micro segments of your 24 hours that you're able and capable of doing things back and forth from, action 1 to action 2, back to action 1, action 1 to action 3, back to 1, action 4 to action 1, back to 1. It always goes back to 1, so that 1 captures most of the data that we need. And then subsequently, we're capable in a practice, in a development of our muscle, to be able to gather enough data in 2, 3, and 4 to appear to be doing 4 things at once, although we're actually doing number 1, number 2 back to number 1, number 3 back to number 1, and number 4 back to number 1 in the realm of thought, feeling, and belief, even though it appears in the realm of doing and saying that we're only doing one thing or we're multitasking. So I love teaching people this idea of how do it now allows us to do more now and not less in the long run. And if you want that, just email me, reach out. You should, a lot of you belong to our private networking group. These are the things that we're developing together with a bunch of people that want to help each other and know people that help each other. And not only do I help facilitate in that advice and teaching and mentorship and coaching and with introductions, but everybody as a collective consciousness, a powerful mastermind, are able and capable of helping one another really get the most out of life and utilizing these lessons that everyone's taking away this month. So Cooper, I'm glad to hear that you're on your divine direction in the multitasking perception of doing it now. 100% of the things you do now do get done. I guarantee it. And still 99% of the statistics are made up. All right. Anyway, Nick of Wam, I'm going to get about 6 more minutes and then get on the true mobile path. So hopefully you'll tell me technologically how we'll stay connected in the next 5 minutes. Does that sound fair?
That sounds more than fair. And as we continue forward here, I'm going to actually share a takeaway from the chat. And then we have another live guest here before the full mobile Meltzer takes flight. So with that said, I'm reading a quick takeaway from Bradford Wally. And his takeaway is embrace vulnerability in sharing your story and the emotions associated with it. You never know who it might help. Thanks for sharing the finite details of your story. They've helped me tremendously, Dr. Meltzer.
Please, let's not embarrass the real doctors of the world. I'll take the acknowledgement. I gave the title to my mom. She can now rest in peace, and I'm proud to have that. But more importantly, let's talk about vulnerability. What we as human beings want to be is humble, because we're, as my favorite quote is, either humble or we're about to be. And humility is the combination of being human and tranquil, at peace. And the only way we're at peace is when we're in the truth. It has the highest frequency. It's a 528 frequency. It allows us to have the most awareness. And it's counterintuitive to think that telling our worst selves to other people, illustrating our lowest moments, would actually bring more credibility, more love, and more enlightenment to others. If somebody would have told me, my greatest fear growing up, right, money was my identity, my greatest fear was losing all my money, because then I would lose my identity. And in that construct, if anybody ever told me that if I would lose all my money, which I did in 2008, over $100 million and went bankrupt, if somebody would have told me that I would tell anyone that I went bankrupt, let alone teach everyone that I went bankrupt, I would have told them I'd rather probably commit suicide. That's how much my identity was tied to my bank account. And that commission-based life and that commission-based pursuit shifted me, protected me, promoted me, loved me, and perfected me into a mission-based life where the commissions followed. And it's the vulnerability that allows us to be tranquil. It's the vulnerability that allows us to be at our truth. And the more we fight to tell the truth, to be able to expose ourselves to the traumas that we've suffered, if we don't share those traumas, if we don't share our suffering to teach people the dummy tax that caused that suffering, don't waste the suffering. So many people waste the suffering, and then they created an infinite loop of suffering instead of an infinite loop of giving, of abundance, of everything. If anyone wants to learn about this, please reach out, david@dmeltzer.com. Let's all make sure that we are working towards more and more truth of ourselves to teach these takeaways and lessons. And I can't tell you how many thousands of people reach out and thank me for going bankrupt. Thank me for sharing my stories and traumas. Thank me for revealing the dummy tax, the stupidity, which is, once again, that holy triad that my mom wanted me to be: a doctor, a lawyer, and a failure. Look, mistakes, they really don't make you a failure, do they? It's lack of commitment. And so making sure that we all have a definiteness of purpose in the divine direction to change and indicate the divine detours to where we want to be or better, and allow for divine time to reveal the truth by living in our truth, by living as a tranquility of humility, because we're either humble or we're about to be. All right, Nickawam, I'm going to start walking up to this graduation, this acknowledgement. So what am I supposed to do? You're going to come on here, tell me what to do.
Yep, absolutely. Go ahead and plug in your headphones into the phone that you could still have Clubhouse rocking and rolling on.
Yep.
And then you are good to go ahead and go mobile, and I'll be feeding in the audio to the multicast from Clubhouse, so everybody can continue to hear us.
All right, you stay on StreamYard. I'm going to mute and put my screen off then on StreamYard, correct?
Perfect. Yep, exactly. All right, beautiful. Let's keep this thing rocking and rolling, ladies and gentlemen. For our next takeaway of the month, we have the incredible Carrie, who has been patiently waiting. So, Carrie, it's great to see you here. Feel free to unmute yourself and share your takeaway from the month of April. Oh, there's Carrie.
I'm here. I'm just blown away by the suffering that really lands for me, because my mom is so sick right now, and I have a book that I just published, and I'm like searching and figuring out, how do I catapult this forward? And actually, my mom is helping me, because I'm so fearless now. I'm just doing things that I don't think I would ever do, because I'm tapping into the pain. And I know I wrote the book from the pain and the failures and the suffering and all that, but I think we get in our own way, where we have what we need to do and the skills we need to move forward, but we hold ourselves back. But when you lose everything, you really don't care anymore. And so I just wanted to give a shout out. I saw David at a Boston event, and it was really transforming. And thank you, Nick. Thank you, David, for inspiring me. Oh, and by the way, Bucky O'Neill was the gift that I got that night, because he said, Carrie, your book's cool and all, but that girl who wrote that book is here, and where you're going, you have to leave that girl behind. And that was an amazing gift. So thank you.
Yeah, if you haven't checked out Bucky O'Neill, that's a great takeaway. He's transformed. He's one of the world's greatest transformational facilitators for those comments, lessons, and light that he shares in a physical, spiritual, and emotional realm. So It's amazing what he does. And, you know, in that humility, in the vulnerability, the more we share, the more we grow. And the greatest thing, like you said, is we help other people grow when we share our growth and the dummy tax that we paid. But don't waste the struggle. I'm glad that landed with you. Thank you so much. And we look forward to doing more with you. If you haven't come, listen to our network, our group, our neighborhood. That's why we guarantee what we do, because it is transformative when we share a collective consciousness, a mastermind, which is the basis of Napoleon Hill. And blessed to be the chairman of Napoleon Hill Institute. Love to be a part. We do Wednesday trainings now for the Institute as well. So Wednesday and Friday, we've been doing trainings for over 26 years. Nick, one of my favorites, our takeaways of the day, of the month, of the week. So go ahead, let's keep it going. Hopefully technologically everybody can hear me. Is that right, Nick?
Yes, sir. Everybody can hear you loud and clear, and we are continuing to follow suit as the well-oiled machine that we tend to be. And I'm going to read the next takeaway of the month that we have coming from the chat and multicast, and then we'll come back live here on Clubhouse. So the next takeaway that I see here is coming from the incredible Colleen, who says, her takeaway is understanding the stories that we've been telling ourselves for so long and changing the narrative for things that no longer serve you. So thank you, Colleen, for that incredible takeaway. And David, I know that is a topic that you can definitely expand upon. So I want to kick it to you for a few comments before we move on to our next guest on Clubhouse. David, you got me loud and clear?
I do, Mr. Reed. I just talked to Roberta. She walked up to me and she was bragging about Nick. So I'm sorry about that. Go ahead and repeat that question, Nick.
Yeah, so the takeaway is coming from Colleen, and she said her takeaway is understanding the stories that we've been telling ourselves for so long and changing the narrative for things that no longer serve you. So, of course, want to thank Colleen for that incredible takeaway, but also kick it to you for a few thoughts and comments, as we would love to obviously learn from your perspective as well.
So, sorry, Nick.
You're good.
This was one of the things. Yeah, so I appreciate it. So Colleen's takeaway was what? One more time?
Yep. Understanding the stories that we've been telling ourselves for so long and changing the narrative for things that no longer serve us.
Yeah, so that involves, it's such a great lesson that we have a great power to give meaning to everything we see. And everything we see is based off of our past, our lessons, our stories of the past. And so, as you see there in the lessons of the past, that we give the wrong meaning that's not aligned with where we want to be or better, it creates a limitation, because we will never overachieve our own self-image. We'll never overachieve what we do and how we do it in the imagination. And so learning these lessons and giving these meanings is exactly where we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to do. So we live in this loop of limitations, and the limitations are via the stories and narratives and the limitations and the meaning that we give them. And so if we can align each day in that incremental time, the meaning that we give the past, the meaning we give our stories, if we can align that, then we can expand our self-image and our imagination, knowing that we'll never overachieve our own imagination or self-image.
Beautiful. And thank you so much, David. And of course, Colleen, for the incredible takeaway. For our next takeaway, we're going to come back live here on Clubhouse, and I'm going to pass it over to the lovely Marissa. Happy Friday, Marissa. Always great to see you here. Feel free to unmute yourself and share your takeaway.
Happy Friday. Dad, I can't believe you're going to be a doctor. Like, you better not go around calling yourself one. That's funny, but you promise? No, I'm kidding. You wouldn't do that. But my takeaway of the month is even if you're being protected and promoted, even when you don't see it now. And I think that's my biggest takeaway this month.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Maris.
So this is a huge thing because people don't realize what they're given. So they just think they give to receive. and they don't realize that when they give, that they're given. And a lot of times what we're given is lessons that have no evidence or evidence contrary to where we want to be. And in order to facilitate, to make easier life, that when the pain, struggles, setbacks, mistakes, failures are seen as something that we're given, then we have to have faith that we're given that lesson through a struggle, a pain, an indicator that we have a better place to be. And so if we feel punished, we're just contributing to the acceleration in the wrong direction, the creation of void shortages and obstacles where we could be instead seeking with light, love, and lessons with gratitude, empathy, and accountability, all that we're given. And the biggest struggles of my life, when I talked about now wasting struggles, come from not only the wisdom that I gathered from it, but the faith that I was being protected, promoted, loved, and perfected. And so understanding, that protection, love, and perfection, is, the essence of how to accelerate and grow. And so that's where my faith became even stronger in something bigger than me that did love, protect, promote, and perfect me. But understanding that it is a source, your God, my God, that knows everything. And so we have to get over the fact that we don't know what we don't know. We have to get over the fact that there's no evidence, or the evidence is contrary to where I want to be. Like when I lost everything, that was going to save my life, bring me to a better place, a better position, and be able to allow me to have a mission where not only the conditions are following, but empowering others with that mission as well.
Amazing. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Marissa, for another incredible takeaway. And we got about 12 minutes left here as we close out what has been an incredible Free Friday training. Of course, today's topic is takeaway of the month. So as we progress here and we are into the fourth quarter, for everybody that has a few last takeaways to be able to share, of course, if you're joining us online as we are multicasting everywhere, please make sure to put your takeaways into the chat. And if you're live here on Clubhouse, if you are on stage, please just put a note in the room chat and I'll be happy to pass the microphone over your way. Or of course, if you're in the audience, please use the hand icon to request to join the stage and we will bring you up. Now, with that said, David, for our next takeaway, I'm going to pass it over to your two favorite letters in the alphabet. That's, of course, GG. So GG, happy Friday. Great to see you. Feel free to unmute yourself and the stage is yours.
Happy Friday. So my takeaway for this month is things are happening slowly and then all of a sudden. And I remember even learning from David and the team, I'm like, this takes way too long and stuff like that. And now I'm seeing the results of everything and I'm like, oh, now I get it. So I'm still going through this process, still learning this. But it's something that it has so many layers. So thank you, David. And I would say also David doing the training and being so consistent, even today, like it's that proof of how important consistency is and developing the right habits. So thank you, everyone, and thank you, David.
Yeah, it's amazing. If I could teach my kids, and I try to empower my own kids with that consistent behavior. So it gives you the exponentiality. It gives you the exponentiality that you need. And so I work really hard on teaching people to be that consistent in everything that they do, because that causes the aggregation of what they do. And amazing. We've got Dr. Pascal here, everybody. He's an amazing miracle doctor of mine, and Julie needs your work while you wait for me. But make sure we videotape it. Anyway, Nick, if I could have any habit or give my success one characteristic that has the most impact, it would be consistency. I think when you understand physics, quantum physics, and metaphysics, how the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious and the collective conscious all work in tandem and in synchronicity, you'll realize that it is consistency that's the initial input into the subconscious, the unconscious, and the collective conscious. So that's awesome, Nick. I think I have time for one more, and then you're going to have to cover me to finish up, okay?
Yep, not a problem. Not a problem. We'll go ahead and pass it over to Chima for the last takeaway of the month. Chima, the mic is all yours. Oh, looks like Chima's having some technical difficulties. I know Heather is patiently waiting. So Heather, feel free to
Can you
unmute
hear me?
yourself. Oh, Chima, we got you
Sorry.
now. Go ahead.
You can hear me. I have a future takeaway because I was at an event this week with Ramon from here, Tash Queen. It was quite an incredible space. And Ramon pointed it to John Lee and said, hey, go and talk to him. So I did. I went over, had a conversation. He invited me to a workshop next week, a 2-day event. So I'm going to go and do that. But all this comes from what I learned from David. It's about basically persisting, being annoying. Because I would never have had the courage to do some of these things without him telling me, just be annoying sometimes. Go and confront people, and you find that they will be receptive. And so when I went up, he was completely heartwarming and open. It was amazing. And I thought, wow, it's so easy sometimes when you just throw down some of those deflections. And thank you, David, for all that encouragement. So that was incredible.
Beautiful,
Hello?
Chima. Yes.
Yeah, Chima, thank you. I'm here with Dr. Sean Dill and Dr. Lacey Book, who have helped me complete the holy grail for my mom of doctor, lawyer, and failure. I've done all 3 now, thanks to them. I appreciate it. Anyways, Chima, it is a matter of the collective consciousness and the mastermind of surrounding yourself with the right people, the right ideas that allow you to accelerate to where you want to be. But where your life has changed is being able to ask for help. And so what I love about you is I told you to be annoying and to ask for help. And that has been a major contribution to the successes that you're having. Nickawam, I am here. I need to get going. I am 7 minutes shy, so you're going to have to carry us. Let's see if you can carry the takeaways of the day. Email me, david@dmeltzer.com, if you want any of the exercises, the guides, the gratitude challenge, whatever we're dealing with. Appreciate you. I'll send my book, sign it, pay for it, pay for shipping. I do only want us to all be part of our network. So please email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Nick Awan, next time you talk to me, you will not be calling me Dr. Meltzer, but I'll be one.
It sounds more than fair. Have an absolute blast, and we will talk to you very soon. Thank you again for an incredible Friday training as always. And as we continue on here, we got about 7 minutes left, everybody, as we will continue on with some takeaways of the month to close out this incredible session. We've got Heather, who has been patiently waiting here live on Clubhouse with another takeaway of the month. So Heather, it's great to see you. Happy Friday. Feel free to unmute yourself and share away.
Hey, Nick. Thank you. Happy Friday, everyone. My April takeaway would be health is wealth. You would think I would know that as a 10-year liver transplant survivor, but I have been humbled, as David would say, this past month with some new health issues. So those non-negotiables that I, really lived by in the past because of health issues, I kind of strayed away from because I was so focused on my goals, my ambitions, I probably a bit of lack of patience in the progress that I want to make. So I have been humbled this past month and have had to refocus and somewhat reinvent my thoughts and processes to continue with my health and wealth, and that's basically my takeaway. It's just keep your health in mind no matter what your focus and your goals are.
Absolutely. And I love the point that you bring up regarding the non-negotiables, right? Because that, for me personally aligns with my takeaway, which is the simple things to do are also very simple not to do. Right. When we look at, what is the man-made construct of time is every single day there's going to be circumstances. But if we apply, right, that consistency habit machine that we have built with what is our non-negotiables and inclusive of what is health every single day, right, then not only are we going to be able to be at ease for the most amount of time possible, but also continue to aspire and grow to even more. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And thank you so much, Heather, for another incredible takeaway. And of course, we are looking forward to seeing you in a few weeks as we're hoping that you are going to be in Chicago for the National Restaurant Show with Brian. So we would love to see you there. And for one final takeaway to help round out this session, I know we got about 4 minutes left here. I know that Jessica has been patiently waiting, and she is always somebody that shows up for our community and is engaged each and every week. So Jessica, I want to give you a quick shout out for one, but number two, I would also love to see if you have a takeaway to be able to share to close out our wonderful session. Oh, Jessica, and it's the lower right-hand corner is the unmute if you are able to, and if not, we will go ahead.
Hello.
There she is. What's going on?
Thank you. Thank you for the shout out. I really appreciate that. And I love these recaps. It really puts a lot in frame for momentum. I was rushing to the mic, so wanted to make sure I could contribute something here as we land. Thank you. Grateful to be a bookend to gratitude. A takeaway from April is courage to ask challenging questions as it relates to some of the work I'm doing where I normally wouldn't lean in, and I leaned in certain capacities that opened up some doors. So I'm really grateful for that. And that is impacting the standards that I realized I let slack. It makes all the difference to be aware of that, put those back in place, and it kind of is a natural filtering system for the right folks and projects and things to put your attention to when we do have so much competing priorities. So grateful for that. Thank
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jessica. And, you know, one of the things that you mentioned within there, and it's my favorite part to kind of close out with a last message, is not just gratitude for being able to ask the tough questions and the incredible lessons and progress that come from asking those questions, but what you said in the very beginning about, you know, these takeaway type sessions being so valuable. And it's, you know, gratitude coming from myself and I think the entire community of the reason why we show up each and every week and continue to engage and pour into one another is because this community is so special in the sense that, right, it's an aggregate of people that are here to help one another and know people that can help one another. And not only can help make introductions, but I think one of the things that we all love to do more than anything is to pay the dummy tax for one another, right, is to, you know, help share all of the lessons that we're learning. So, right, we can pay that dummy tax and, you know, empower others to not make the same mistakes or to not you know, help expand what is their growth and of course their journey even quicker, and, you know, limiting what is the distance of resistance in terms of what they experience day to day. So thank you so much, Jessica, for of course rounding us out with one final takeaway. I know David would be proud in terms of not only the community rallying, but of course being able to carry this on as he goes to accept what is his first honorary doctorate. And as we close out today's session, a quick reminder for everybody that whether it was the gratitude challenge or any of the other guides or exercises that David had mentioned throughout today's session, if you would like a copy of those, if for any reason you do not have a copy of his book, which he'll be more than happy to send you a copy, sign a copy, and even pay for shipping, it is just david@dmeltzer.com. And of course, as it pertains to our upcoming schedule, as we all love to just invite but not obligate this incredible community to join us in person. David, of course, is in Spartanburg, South Carolina today, and will be in Charleston over the weekend. We'll be kicking off next week on Monday in Phoenix, Arizona with the Aspire Business Tour for one of our infamous VIP dinners, before then heading over to Viva Las Vegas. We have Office Hours TV show Season 8 Part 2 that will be concluding, and of course hosting a VIP dinner with that as well. And then for the rest of the month, we'll be on to LA and SoFi Stadium, New York, Chicago, Vancouver, Atlanta, and many, many more. Of course, just invitations, not obligations, everybody, but make sure if you would like to join us, please join the text community so you get the reminders on where David's going to be. And that's just 949-298-2905. And not to toot a horn, but we are exactly on the money at 7 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. So we're going to close out this session. First Clubhouse, I believe I'm passing it over to either Christine, Julie, or Trisha. If you guys wouldn't mind taking over. And for everybody on the multicast, Gigi, as you know, hit it.
Welcome to Office Hours, Hosted by legendary sports executive, entrepreneur, and investor David Meltzer, where the brightest entrepreneurial minds in business, sports, and entertainment get together to talk about success, failure, and everything in between.
I have no self-worth tied up in Gary Vee or Gary Vaynerchuk, the entrepreneur. My self-worth is fully and utterly 100% attached to how I treat human beings.
I think love is the answer to everything as well. Love and compassion and justice and fairness, and which are all aspects of love.
The most important question anybody can ask is, what would I do and love every day, even if I were failing?
Take a deep dive into the mind of some of the world's most impactful guests.
And the reality is, life here on Earth is very short compared to eternity, and we don't spend a lot of time thinking about eternity and what that looks like.
People get new computers, they get the new iPhones, they upgrade their apps. But when's the last time we upgraded, the technology that's created all of these things?
So I always challenge my audience and people I talk to about sometimes is there a door in your life you have to close for other doors to open?
To share their strategies and tools to dominate their respective fields.
When we repeat anything, whether it's a constructive good pattern or a destructive bad pattern, our brain reinforces it just like a muscle.
All a belief is a story that you've said over and over again. Maybe you caught it from someone else or you had a specific experience.
Know who you are, know what you want, and make adjustments trying to get there.
David Meltzer hosts Office Hours.